Calcutta, the teeming eastern metropolis of India, can well be called a capital of the developing world. It is a case study in urban collapse, displaying classic examples of congestion, pollution and poverty. The lowest strata of society live in desperately unsanitary conditions in crude shanties that line the once proud boulevards. The overcrowded slums lack even the most basic amenities. They stretch into and out of the city and snake alongside railway tracks from the towns and villages nearby. The inhabitants of these colonies have come to Calcutta from the outlying districts and further beyond, in search of better opportunities. Many have been born in the city's streets. The city, already reeling under the weight of a huge immigrant population, still attracts unskilled labourers by the thousands daily. What they get is underpaid menial jobs with wages barely enough for 2 full meals a day. Even children are pressed into work in exploitative and often hazardous environments. Many of the younger girls end up in Calcutta's infamous red light districts, where sex is always cheap, abusive and often high risk. One of the major areas that supplies cheap labour to Calcutta is just over an hour down the railway tracks. This is the Sundarbans Delta, where the Hooghly River meets the sea. Wildlife and nature enthusiasts know this rich ecological zone as the home of the Royal Bengal tiger and the largest mangrove swamp in the world. We know the Sundarbans as home to thousands of island dwellers who have almost no civic services, no industry and little arable land to call their own. People living here are totally dependent on boats and ferries to get to the mainland. On shore, most of the land is saline and unsuitable for agriculture. Every other year, fierce tidal waves break the embankments and play havoc with the outlying farmlands, destroying crops and houses and a year's efforts in the field. When Gold started operations in the Sundarbans, there were no motorable roads, nor were there schools, clinics or electricity. The men eked out a living through fishing, while women engaged in other low-paid work, like sifting through human hair to make wigs, earning less than €1 per kilo of hair, approximately 3 days' work. Those who owned a little land could grow a small variety of crops that could be harvested once a year. Malnutrition and disease were rampant in these parts, and people had to walk for miles for drinking water. In most of the small villages dotting the islands, sanitation had not been heard of. The neighbourhood pond was used for bathing and doubled up as the community toilet. The village families also washed their clothes and utensils here, a haven for all sorts of infection. Education and healthcare were non-existent. Even relatively minor ailments and childbirth led to premature deaths. Goal has been involved in the development of the Sundarbans region since 1999, working with local organisation Shabushanga. The problems we have faced together have been immense. Over several phased projects, the funds raised by Goal have been used to give the people of the Sundarbans new roads and clinics. Damaged school buildings have been repaired, and new hostels have been constructed for boys and girls who come from faraway islands. Tube wells have been dug to provide clean drinking water. The sick and infirm of the inaccessible interior can now be taken to the nearest hospital in a new boat ambulance. But, most significantly, there's a new optimism among the people because Goal has instituted livelihood options in the Sundarbans, without which people would still be forced to go elsewhere for work. People have been encouraged to farm more efficiently and to maximise what land they have available to them. They are receiving guidance on new techniques of cultivation in this kind of soil and better seed culture through a local resource centre established with the assistance of Goal. Housewives are now enthusiastic about forming groups where they can borrow money for small enterprises of their own. Kakuli Das is the leader of one such group, and her income now allows her children to go to school and also to pay for solar-powered electricity at home. also provided with the assistance of gold. Income generation has been the most important improvement in this region. People are able to earn and save money in a way they hadn't before, and this has resulted in self-sufficiency in the villages of the project area. Assets like agricultural implements, fishing boats, and solar panels for electricity generation have been made available. Over time, earnings from these resources have enabled the people to become owners of these assets. The lives of thousands of people spread over 24 villages in the Sundarbans have changed because of the development that has come to this region. And all of this has been possible because of the generosity of our sponsors back home. Goal's model of sustainable development in the Sundarbans Delta is continuing to evolve. We have provided key facilities to families and communities. We now have to ensure that these facilities are used to optimum capacity and contribute to real differences in people's lives. Among other things, this would mean fewer kids dying of diarrhoea, greater attendance and retention of children in school, increased food productivity, higher household income, and fewer people forced to migrate to Calcutta. To guarantee a secure future for this seriously underdeveloped area of Bengal, the people of the Sundarbans need your support to continue their fight against natural disaster and economic backwardness. The good beginning has to be nurtured through to completion. Together, we can make this happen.